The war had ended, but the wounds were still fresh. The sky above planet Drossen 7 was dark and full of smoke. Dead machines and burned metal covered the battlefield like broken bones. Soldiers from both sides were gone. Only silence remained. Lieutenant Mason walked slowly through the ruins. His boots crushed ash and shattered glass. He was part of a human rescue team sent to scan the battlefield for survivors or alien traps. Then something beeped on his scanner. Unknown life form detected, the device said. Mason looked up, his eyes locked on a silver pod, half buried in the mud. It was cracked and sparking with weak energy pulses. A soft blue light glowed from inside. He raised his weapon and took a step closer. The pod opened with a hiss. Inside lay a girl. But not just any girl, an alien. Her skin was pale, violet, her arms marked with glowing blue veins. Metal wires were connected to her back and neck. Her body looked weak, but strange weapons were built into her arms and legs. Like she was made for war. The other soldiers shouted, "Sir, step back. That's not a survivor, it's a weapon." But Mason didn't move. She opened her eyes. Not red, not glowing. Just soft, terrified eyes. And tears. She whispered something. Mason leaned in. She said one word, "Help." Back on the ship Edenfall, the alien girl was placed in a sealed medbay chamber. She didn't fight. She didn't speak again. She just stared at the ceiling with empty eyes. Captain Riker wasn't happy. "You brought a weapon on my ship," he shouted. "She's not a weapon. She's a person," Mason replied firmly. "She's both," the ship doctor said. "Her body was modified with advanced war tech. Whoever made her for one reason: destruction." "But she asked for help," Mason said. Riker looked Mason in the eyes. "We help soldiers, not ticking bombs." In the night, Mason went to see her again. She sat silently in her glass cell, knees pulled to her chest. Her face was young, almost human, but her arms had strange plates. Her spine glowed softly in the dark. He tapped on the glass. She looked up. "What's your name?" he asked softly. No reply. He sat down on the floor, back against the glass. "No. I used to think all aliens were monsters," he said. "But then I saw you cry." Still silent, Mason sighed. "They say you're dangerous. They want to shut you down. But I saw something in your eyes. You weren't trying to hurt anyone. You were scared." Finally, she spoke. Her voice was weak. "They made me." Mason turned quickly. "Who?" She looked away. "My own kind." Later, Mason asked the ship AI to scan her deeper. The AI hesitated. "Her body is part organic, part machine," it said. "High-energy implants hidden under her skin. She's not a soldier. She's a living weapon. A prototype." "A prototype," Mason repeated. "Yes. Designed for war. Capable of destruction on a large scale. She hasn't been activated yet. What happens when she is? She becomes something else." That night, alarms went off. Mason rushed to the med-bay. The girl was screaming inside her chamber. Her body shook violently. Her arms were glowing, wires inside her pulsing. Her back cracked as metallic parts began to grow. Mason shouted, "Open the door." "No," the doctor yelled. "She's turning. She's unstable. She's in pain." Mason yelled through the glass. He saw her eyes full of terror. She wasn't attacking anyone. She was begging for it to stop. And then she collapsed. Mason pressed his hand to the glass. "You're not a monster," he whispered. "You're not what they made you." Asterisk. As medical lights blinked red, and the ship crew argued about what to do, she opened her eyes one more time, and whispered through the glass. "They're coming. They want me back, and they won't care who gets in their way." The girl Riven, that was the name she finally whispered after 2 days in silence. Her voice was soft, broken, like someone learning to speak again after a long time. But when she said her name, something in Mason's heart shifted. She had a name. She wasn't just a weapon. But the crew didn't care about names. To them, she was a ticking bomb. Captain Riker had already sent a request to Central Command. The request said, "Alien subject is unstable. Recommend full sedation or removal." Mason knew what removal really meant. In the medical lab, Mason argued with the AI. "And Dr. Helix, you can't just shut her down," Mason said. Dr. Helix frowned. "She's not just alien, Mason. She's something built to kill. Look at the data." On the screen, her scans pulsed. Inside her skin were hidden small blades, power circuits, microreactors, fused with her nervous system. Her bones were stronger than steel. There was something near her heart, too. A glowing core. Unknown material. "This isn't armor," Helix said. It's a cage. Her body isn't just modified. It's reprogrammed. The ship's AI added, her implants are tied to an activation signal. Once triggered, her entire body will shift. Shift into what? Mason asked. Into whatever her creators designed. Something fast, deadly, and loyal to no one. That night, Mason couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her face, those soft violet eyes filled with sadness. Her body may be part machine, but her soul, ... that still seemed real. He went to the observation deck, where she was held in a transparent chamber. She was sitting cross-legged, breathing slowly, her head bowed. "Riven," Mason said gently. "Can you hear me?" She looked up, startled. "They're afraid of me," she whispered. "They don't understand you." "They shouldn't," she said. "They're right to fear me. I'm not safe." "But you asked for help," Mason said. "I didn't know where else to go. I wasn't supposed to escape." Riven closed her eyes. "They made me forget everything, my family, my name, my language. They put memories in my head that weren't mine. Battles, targets, kill codes." "Then how are you still?" Mason asked. She touched the side of her head. "Something broke when I crashed. I started remembering, feeling. That's when I knew I had to run." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A low hum echoed through the ship. The AI voice chimed in. "External scan detected. Unknown transmission." "What the hell?" Mason stood up. The captain's voice rang out over the comms. "All crew to battle positions. We have incoming." Mason turned to Riven. Her face had gone pale. "No," she whispered. "They found me." "Who?" Mason asked. "The ones who made me. They're not here to take me back. They're here to finish me." The ship's AI triggered a containment shield around her cell. The energy field sparked blue. Riven backed into the corner. "They'll activate the implant remotely. They don't care if I die. They just can't let me fall into human hands." Mason shouted into his comm. "Deactivate the cell. She's in danger." Riker's voice replied. "Negative. She stays locked. We don't take chances with alien tech." As the ship shook from a distant blast, Mason looked at Riven. Her back began to arch in pain. Her spine glowed brighter. "I can feel it," she gasped. "They're waking the system inside me." Her eyes rolled back. Her skin began to ripple as the metal beneath pushed outward. Mason slammed his fist against the glass. "Fight it, Riven. Stay with me." And then her voice came, weak but clear. "I don't want to be a monster." The ship Edenfall was quiet that night. Too quiet. Mason stood outside Riven's chamber, staring at the glowing lights under her skin. She hadn't moved in hours. Her body looked still, but something was happening beneath the surface. She was burning. Not with fire but with energy. The kind no human body could hold. The kind only a weapon was meant to carry. Inside her chamber, Riven's eyes opened. They were no longer soft and violet. They shimmered with shifting colors: blue, gold, red, as if fire and lightning danced behind them. She sat up slowly, breathing heavy, holding her chest like something inside was trying to escape. "Riven," Mason asked through the intercom. "Are you all right?" She looked up. "I'm losing control," she whispered. "They started the override. My thoughts. They're not mine anymore." Mason rushed to the control room. "We need to shut down the override signal now," he yelled at the AI. The AI replied, "Signal not found. Transmission is embedded directly into her spinal cord." "She's turning," Mason shouted. "We don't have much time." Riker glared at him. "So what do you want us to do, Lieutenant?" "Hug her and hope she remembers her feelings. She's fighting it," Mason said. "I saw her eyes. She's still in there." The captain slammed a button. "Prepare the sedative drone. If she breaks containment, terminate her." Mason turned and ran. In the medbay, red alarms began flashing. Riven was screaming now, no words, just raw pain. Her skin cracked along her arms and neck. Not blood, light spilled out. Her bones shifted. Her muscles tore and rebuilt themselves. In real time, she was changing, but not attacking. Still curled into herself, still crying. Mason reached the chamber. She looked up. "Please, help me." The drone entered. It aimed its needle at her neck. "No." Mason stepped between them. The drone paused. "She is a threat." "She's a girl," Mason said, "not a machine. She is 47% mechanical." "Then talk to the 53% that isn't." Suddenly, the glass exploded. Not from violence but from energy pressure. The force of Riven's transformation shattered the containment. The floor shook. Lights blinked out. Sparks flew from the ceiling. And there she stood. Not fully human. Not fully alien. Not machine. She was something in between. Her arms were covered in glowing armor. Her spine lit up with electric veins. Her hair floated as if underwater. And her eyes looked straight at Mason. "I didn't mean to scare you," she whispered. The crew arrived, weapons drawn. "Hold your fire," Mason shouted. "She's out of containment," Riker barked. "She's not attacking," Mason yelled. "Look at her." Everyone froze. Riven didn't raise a hand. She didn't run. She knelt down and placed her hands behind her head. "I don't want to hurt anyone," she said. "I just want to live." Silence. One soldier slowly lowered his gun. Then another. But Riker didn't. He stepped forward, weapon aimed at her heart. "This isn't a girl. This is a weapon. Designed to trick, to manipulate." Mason stood in front of her. She made a choice, not to fight, not to run. "That's more human than most." Riker's finger twitched on the trigger. "Move, Lieutenant, no." Suddenly, Riven gasped and grabbed her chest. Her legs buckled. Her body began glowing too brightly. Unstable. She collapsed. Mason caught her before she hit the ground. Her voice trembled. "They're still inside me. Still trying to take control." And then she said something that chilled Mason to his core. "If I change again, don't save me. Kill me." The next morning, the ship was silent. No alarms, no weapons drawn. Just a girl lying unconscious in a medical bay, glowing softly like a flickering star. Her name was Riven. She had survived the transformation, but no one knew how much longer. Her mind would remain her own. Mason sat beside her bed, watching her sleep. Her skin was cracked with thin lines of blue light, like glass holding back fire. Machines monitored her breathing. Her vitals were unstable. He leaned closer and whispered, "I won't let them take you." He didn't care if anyone heard. Outside the med bay, Captain Riker paced in the hallway. "I want her off this ship," he told Dr. Helix. "Either we shut her down, or we send her into space. She's a bomb waiting to go off." "She didn't attack," Helix replied. "She broke containment and didn't hurt anyone." Riker gritted his teeth. "That's worse. She's controlling herself. For now. But what happens when she can't?" The AI suddenly interrupted. "Captain. Encrypted files recovered from the alien transmission. Permission to open?" Riker hesitated. "Do it." What came next changed everything. The screen flickered, showing alien blueprints, biotech experiments, captured species, and data logs from a secret military facility. Mason stared as the images loaded. One file opened. Subject 13RV. Codename Riven. She wasn't born a weapon. She was turned into one. Riven had once been a child on a peaceful colony moon. Her people were scientists, artists, healers, not soldiers. But when war came, their world was caught in the crossfire, and someone had a plan. Alien generals launched a secret program to weaponize the weak. They kidnapped children, erased memories, rebuilt bodies, and programmed obedience. Out of 100 test subjects, only one survived the full process. Riven. They tortured her, Mason said in a quiet voice. Rewired her brain. Turned her body into something it was never meant to be. And now she's a threat to us. Riker snapped. No, Mason said firmly. She's a victim. The AI continued. Signal logs show she escaped the lab by overriding her kill switch. She crashed here, trying to run, not to fight. Then why didn't she tell us everything? Riker asked. Would you? Mason replied. If you were forced into becoming a monster, would you tell strangers what they did to you? Back in the medbay, Riven slowly woke up. Her eyes opened. Not glowing now. Just tired. Mason sat beside her, holding a datapad. I found the files, he said softly. I know what they did to you. Riven looked away. I told you, I'm not safe. No one is safe in a war. But you didn't choose this. Tears slid down her cheeks. I don't even remember my mother's face. Just metal. Wires. Pain. You remember enough to cry, Mason said. That's more than they ever wanted you to feel. Suddenly, a warning flashed across the ship. Incoming vessel detected. Identity unknown. No human registration. Riven sat up, her body tensing. They found me again. Mason stood. You said they'd come. What will they do? Riven's voice was hollow. They'll either reclaim me, or erase me. Riker rushed to the bridge. The enemy ship wasn't broadcasting any messages. No demands. No threats. Just silent movement, like a predator stalking prey. The crew loaded weapons, but Riven knew better. They won't speak, she said, stepping onto the bridge beside Mason. Because I'm not a person to them anymore. Just a lost tool. The captain looked at her. Can you fight them? She shook her head. I can destroy them, but I may not come back from it. Asterisk. Everyone turned toward her. She stepped forward, her skin starting to glow again. Her voice steady but sad. If I face them, I might lose myself. And if I do, promise me something. She looked directly at Mason. Promise me you'll stop me before I become what they built. Space was silent, but silence didn't mean safety. Above the planet's orbit, the unknown alien vessel waited, black, sharp, and shaped like a predator. It had no lights, no name, and no crew speaking on open channels. It was a hunter, and Riven was its prey. Captain Riker stared at the enemy ship from the bridge of Edenfall. It hasn't moved in hours, he said. What's it waiting for? They're scanning, Riven said quietly. Learning the ship, measuring your weapons, studying me. You mean they're deciding how to kill us? Riker muttered. Riven nodded. Mason stepped forward. Then we strike first. Riker raised a brow. With what? They outgun us 10-1. We have something they don't, Mason said. He looked at Riven. Riven stood still, her arms crossed tight over her chest. I can fight them, she said softly, but I can't promise I'll stay. Me. Mason walked closer. What if we don't need you to fight alone? What do you mean? Use your strength, but we guide you. Don't let them pull your mind into rage. Trust us to hold you steady. She looked at him, confused, afraid. No one's ever said that to me before. Suddenly, alarms blared across Edenfall. Hostile activity detected. External hull breach. Infiltration in progress. Mason's heart dropped. They're boarding us, he said. No, they're not sending soldiers, Riven said, eyes wide. They're sending drones. Machines built to kill anyone near me. If I die, their job is done. Down in the ship's lower decks, the first drone burst through a ventilation shaft. It wasn't humanoid. It was a spider-like machine, sharp and dripping with acid. It moved without sound, without emotion. Security opened fire. Bullets bounced off. Screams echoed through the corridor. Riven looked at Mason. Her body was already glowing with blue fire under her skin. I can stop them, she said. Mason hesitated. Will you still be you after? I don't know. She reached toward him and placed her hand over his heart. But promise me, if I lose control, you'll stop me. Mason whispered. I'll bring you back. I won't lose you. Then he stepped aside. Riven stepped into the main hallway, where the first 3 drones had already killed 2 crew members. She didn't scream. She didn't roar. She moved like lightning. Her feet barely touched the floor. Her arms morphed into razor-like blades. Energy shields formed around her skin. She didn't hesitate. She tore through the machines like paper. One drone exploded in a ball of white heat. Another was ripped in half mid-air, and then her body began to shift again. Mason watched on the security feed as her face twisted in pain. She was glowing too bright. Her voice came over, Kamzai. Can't hold it back. Mason ran. He found her in the lower corridor, kneeling over the last drone. Her hands were shaking. Her face was half human, half mechanical now. One eye was glowing red. The other was full of tears. Mason, she gasped. I feel it taking me. You're stronger than them, he said. She laughed weakly. No, I'm just what they made me. You're more than that. He reached for her hand. She hesitated but then grabbed it. Warm, alive, behind them, another drone dropped from the ceiling, huge, armored, and ready to detonate. Mason spun, but Riven stepped in front of him. Her body exploded in blue light as she launched, forward driving the drone into the wall. She screamed, go. The whole way burst into fire. Asterisk, when the smoke cleared. Mason ran into the flames. He found her. They collapsed, body smoking, circuits exposed. She looked up, barely breathing. I stopped them, she whispered, but now, something's changing. Inside me, her final words before losing consciousness. The real monster. It's waking up. She wasn't breathing. Riven's body lay broken in the smoking corridor, half lethal, half flesh, glowing faintly from deep under her skin. Sparks jumped from her back. Her fingers twitched. Her chest rose, then stopped. Mason dropped to his knees beside her. Stay with me, Riven. Wake up. The med team rushed in behind him, stunned by the destruction. Shattered drones, scorched walls, melted floor panels. She had stopped the attack, but at what cost? Her body looked like it had fought a war alone. Because she had. Back in the medical bay, her vitals were unstable. The machines couldn't read her anymore. Heartbeat erratic. Neural signals corrupted. Her core implant glowed dangerously faster with each hour. Dr. Helix whispered. Something's happening to her. Something we don't understand. The ship's AI confirmed it. Implant evolution detected. External triggers have forced their systems into emergency adaptation mode. Mason didn't like the sound of that. Adapt into what? Unknown. Possibility. Final combat form. Riven woke up hours later, but she wasn't the same. Her voice was deeper. Slower. Like she was speaking through two minds. Her skin shimmered with shifting armor beneath the surface. When Mason entered, she didn't look at him right away. She was staring at her own reflection. They never finished building me, she said softly. But your ship, your people, your trust made my system activate. Mason stepped closer. You're not a system. You're a person. She looked at him, and for a moment, her eyes softened. I don't know if I am anymore. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Captain Riker reviewed the latest data. The alien warship was moving again. It was powering up its main weapon. They're not trying to capture her anymore, he said grimly. They're going to destroy this ship to erase her completely. Mason stared at the screen. We have to get her off the ship. And go where? They'll follow. She's not safe anywhere. Mason's voice dropped. Then we let her choose. In the armory, Riven stood in silence as the AI ran a final scan. Her body was no longer alien girl or prototype. She was something new. Her arms shifted between organic and synthetic. Energy ran through her blood like fire. Her voice now echoed faintly, layered. Mason entered slowly. They're coming for you. I know, she said. They'll kill us all if they think you're out of control. She didn't flinch. I am out of control. No, Mason said. You're in pain. That's not the same. Riven turned to him. Her glowing spine pulsed. Her voice cracked. I can feel it. The final stage. The monster they wanted me to be. Then fight it, Mason said. Fight like you did when you saved me. Her eyes flashed. What if I can't? Then I'll remind you who you are. Suddenly, boom, the ship shook violently. The alien vessel had fired a warning shot, grazing the outer hull. Emergency lights lit up across Edenfall. The AI announced. Direct hit incoming in 60 seconds. The crew screamed orders. Systems failed. Panic grew. And then Riven stepped into the hallway. Her armor unfolded across her body like a living machine. Her feet lifted off the ground. Her eyes glowed silver. She wasn't just a weapon anymore. She was evolution. Mason ran after her. Are you going? To the hangar, she said. I have to stop them before they destroy you. You'll die out there. Better me than all of you. He grabbed her hand. Come back. She looked at him truly. Looked at him, and smiled. If I can. Asterisk, as the hangar doors opened, Riven launched into space alone. Her body burst into blue light, fast as any fighter ship. The alien warship fired again. But this time, the monster they built was ready. Only this time, the monster had a heart. And it was angry. Space was fire. The alien warship fired its cannons like thunder from the star's red beams. Crackling torpedoes, bursts of light that could tear apart mountains. And through it all, one figure flew like a falling star. Riven. She wasn't a girl anymore. She wasn't a prototype. She was a force. Her body, now half glowing metal, twisted through debris. Wings of plasma opened behind her, like blades of pure light. Her hands charged with power. She didn't need a ship, she was the weapon. But inside, her thoughts fought to survive. Mason, hold on to me. Don't let me disappear. Back on Edenfall, the crew watched in stunned silence as the screen showed Riven, diving straight toward the alien warship. She's going to hit it head on. One engineer gasped. She die, said the captain. Mason's jaw clenched. No, she's not going there to die. She's going there to end it. Inside the enemy ship, alarms rang. Their experiment had returned. But she wasn't responding to any of their control codes. She wasn't listening. She had cut the leash. Riven tore through the outer hull like a meteor. She didn't ask permission. She didn't sneak in. She punched her way through. Alien guards opened fire. Too slow. She didn't stop. Her mind was a war zone. The implanted voice kept whispering. Obey. Obey. Erase. Kill. But Mason's voice broke through like light in a storm. You're more than what they built. You chose who you are. Come back. She reached the core chamber. There, she saw what she feared most. Dozens of other pods just like the one she once slept in. More like her. Still asleep. Still unawakened. Still innocent. The voice in her head screamed louder. Destroy. Reset. Become. Her glowing hands rose, ready to wipe out the whole chamber. But then, she stopped. and she whispered to herself, if I destroy them, I become the monster. Instead, she reached into the core, and she rewrote it. Back on Eatonfall. Sir, the AI called out. The enemy ship has shut down weapon systems. What? Riker leaned forward. Energy core is melting, but not exploding. Controlled shutdown, power fading. And then the screen flashed. Riven's face appeared, but not the version covered in fire and armor. Just her come soft, tired Mason, she said. I stopped it. I made sure the others won't suffer like I did. He stepped closer to the screen. Come back, I want to, she whispered. But I used too much. I'm breaking inside. Mason didn't wait. He ran to the hangar, climbed into the fastest ship, and launched without asking permission. The others didn't stop him. Even Riker watched him go in silence. Some things, even orders, couldn't touch. Mason reached the enemy vessel as it began to fall apart. Inside the burning remains, he found her, floating, eyes closed, arms wrapped around her chest like she was sleeping. He pulled her into his ship. No suit, no shield. He didn't care. He held her tight the whole flight back. Hours later, in the medical bay of Edenfall, she finally woke, weak, flickering, but alive. She looked up at him with a tired smile. You came for me. Mason laughed through his tears. Of course I did. I told you I wouldn't lose you. Days passed. Riven recovered slowly. Her body was different now. Most of the implants were gone. Whatever she'd done to the enemy core, it had unlocked her freedom. She was no longer theirs. She was just Riven, a person. The crew had changed to Dot, where once they looked at her like a threat. Now they nodded. Some even smiled. She had saved them, all, and spared her enemies. Not by being a monster, but by choosing to stay human. Final scene. Riven stood on the viewing deck, stars twinkling beyond the glass. Mason joined her. Where will you go now? He asked. She turned to him. I don't know. I never had a future before. You do now, he said. She looked into his eyes, and for the first time, she believed it. They turned her into a weapon, but one human refused to see a beast. And because of him, she remembered who she truly was.